Hello viewers, this is Dr. Sunil Kumar Ahuja. Welcome to Brain and Disease Corner. Today I will be teaching you about narcolepsy. Narcolepsy is excessive daytime sleep disorder where a person has multiple sleep issues, motor problems, along with hormonal and sleep studies related abnormal laboratory findings. As per the DSM-5, narcolepsy is characterized by excessive daytime sleepiness with sleep attacks. Sleep attacks means patient has sudden urge to take sleeps. These sleep episodes should occur for at least 3 times per week for 3 months. Along with this, patient must have at least one of the following features. First one is the cataplexy, second one is the reduced CSF hypocreatine one, and third one is the nocturnal polysomnography record suggests REM sleep latency reduced to less than or equal to 15 minutes, and multiple sleep latency time suggests mean sleep latency is less than or equal to 8 minutes, and sleep onset rapid eye movement periods in at least 2 of the 5 naps. Sleep onset rapid eye movement periods means REM sleep latency is less than or equal to 15 minutes. Normally, NREM sleep appears first, then REM sleep. But in case of the narcolepsy, this REM sleep appears randomly. It may appear before the NREM sleep or after the NREM sleep. Now coming to the specifiers of narcolepsy. Narcolepsy has 5 subtypes. First one is the narcolepsy without cataplexy but with CSF hypocretin deficiency. Second one is the narcolepsy with cataplexy but without CSF hypocretin deficiency. Third one is the autosomal dominant cerebellar ataxia with deafness with narcolepsy. Fourth one is the autosomal dominant narcolepsy with type 2 diabetes and obesity. Fifth one is the narcolepsy secondary to tumor, trauma, stroke, inflammation and infection like sarcoidosis, Whipple's disease, streptococcal infection and influenza infection. Now coming to the severity of narcolepsy. On the basis of frequency of napping and cataplexy along with presence or absence of nocturnal sleep disruption, narcolepsy has been categorized into mild, moderate and severe variety. In mild variety, patient has 1 to 2 episodes of napping, less than once per week episodes of cataplexy, and less disturbed nocturnal sleep. In moderate variety, patient has multiple episodes of napping along with once daily or at every 7 days interval of cataplexy along with disturbed nocturnal sleep. In severe variety, patient has continuous presence of sleepiness issues along with drug resistance, multiple episodes of cataplexy and disturbed nocturnal sleep. Now coming to the etiology and pathophysiology. Although exact etiology of narcolepsy is not known, but it is believed that narcolepsy is caused by excess autoimmune destruction of hypocretin neurons by environmental risk factors in genetically susceptible individuals. But not in all cases of narcolepsy hypocretin deficiency is found. In many cases, there is a deficiency of histamine with or without hypocretin deficiency. In our body, there are wake promoting neurons and sleep promoting neurons which are mutually inhibitory. Likewise, there are the NREM neurons, REM on neurons and REM off neurons which are also mutually inhibitory. Basically, hypocretin maintains the wakefulness during the day and also maintains the sleep during the night. It adjusts this function by directly activating the cerebral cortex, limbic system, spinal motor neuron and indirectly by the activating the reticular activating system and inhibiting the REM on neurons. So deficiency of the hypocretin leads to less activation of the monoaminergic neurons, less activation of the cerebral cortex and less inhibition of the REM on neurons, which leads to the excessive daytime sleepiness which is flooded with the excess of the REM sleep. Now coming to the clinical features of narcolepsy. Narcolepsy has two main clinical features. First one is the excessive daytime sleepiness with sleep attacks and second one is the cataplexy. Along with this, patient has multiple additional features like sleep hallucinations, sleep paralysis, nightmares, nocturnal sleep disruption and automatic behavior. First I will discuss main clinical features then additional features. During morning time, patient arousal is frequently disrupted by NREM sleep and REM sleep, and during night time, sleep is disrupted by frequent micro-arousals. During morning time, this NREM intrusion is manifested as a excessive daytime sleepiness with sleep attacks, and REM intrusion is manifested as a sleep hallucinations, sleep paralysis, nightmares in addition to excessive daytime sleepiness with sleep attacks and cataplexy. Cataplexy is a sudden bilateral loss of muscle tone with intact consciousness and memory. Usually it is precipitated by strong emotions like feeling pleasure, laughing, joking and anger. It may also be precipitated by the sounds, fatigue and tiredness. Good thing about the cataplexy is that it is a brief and reversible in nature. Cataplexy affects facial muscles, eyelid, neck, shoulder, upper limb, lower limb, pelvis, and speech muscles. Clinically, it is manifested as a drooping of the upper eyelids, sagging of the jaw, dropping of the head and the shoulder, buckling of the knees, falls, and swelling of the speech. In children, this cataplexy episode may be atypical in nature and may not have any triggering factors. Now coming to the additional features. First one is the sleep hallucinations. Sleep hallucinations usually occur during the falling asleep or during waking up period. They occur in any sensory modality, but the most common sensory modality is the visual hallucinations followed by the tactile and olfactory hallucinations. In these hallucinatory experiences, patient usually sees different colors and objects like animals, shadows, ghosts, devil, etc. They may also have experiences like synestopathic feelings and other experiences like one's body floating in the air, or they are seeing one's body as a third person. They may also have experiences like some object like animals or ghost has jumped on his or her body and moving on his or her body. Second one is the nightmares. In nightmares, patient has the terrific dreams of some activities. Third one is the sleep paralysis. Sleep paralysis usually occurs during falling asleep or during waking up. I mean it occurs during a transition period from the wakefulness to sleepiness or sleepiness to waking up period. In these sleep paralysis episodes, patient has experiences of unable to speak or unable to move, but patient has awareness regarding this. Fourth one is the automatic behavior. Here patient performs certain activities which may be a verbal or motor in nature in semi-conscious or unconscious manner without having memory about it, like misplacing the objects at inappropriate places or driving a car to destination. For a third person, patient appears to be awake and alert, but patient himself does not know how and when he did it. Now coming to the investigations. First one is the HLA tipping, second one is the CSF hypocretin, third one is the nocturnal polysomnography, and fourth one is the multiple sleep latency test. Patients are usually diagnosed with the nocturnal polysomnography and multiple sleep latency test. Patients with narcolepsy are usually positive for the HLA-DQ-V1-0602. They also have reduced CSF hypocretin 1 to less than or equal to 110 picogram per ml or less than one third of the normal value. Nocturnal polysomnography records suggest REM sleep latency reduced to less than or equal to 15 minutes in addition to frequent arousals, reduced sleep efficiency, increase in the stage 1 sleep, periodic limb movements and sleep apnea. In multiple sleep latency tests, patients are given 5 opportunities of 20 minutes to have scheduled naps at least 2 hours interval such as 9 am, 11 am, 13 pm, 15 pm and 17 pm, and 3 recordings are noted. First one is the latency for each nap, second one is the mean sleep latency, that is the average of latency of these 5 naps, and third one is the presence or absence of the REM period, that is sleep onset rapid eye movement periods. Now coming to the cause and prognosis. Narcolepsy typically begins in adolescents and young adults. It is a lifelong and persistent disorder. Disorder onset is insidious in most of the cases, but abrupt onset is also found, particularly in children. In case of abrupt onset, symptom severity highest in beginning of the illness, but which diminishes over time. So cataplexy may be absent when patient presents late. In case of insidious onset, initial symptoms are sleep related and later symptoms are muscle tone related. So initially patient presents with excessive daytime somnolence, which later progresses into sleep attacks, sleep hallucinations and nightmares. Here I want to draw your attention towards two things. First one is, as initially patient presents with excessive daytime sleepiness, so patient may be mislabeled as having an anxiety disorder, depression, fatigue or some medical disorders like hypothyroidism. So be cautious while making a diagnosis during this phase. Second one is, many patients may turn into the taking of substances. Now coming to the symptoms of muscle tone. First one is the cataplexy and second one is sleep paralysis. Cataplexy usually presents in 50% of the cases within 1 year of the illness and in 85% of the cases within 3 years of the illness and in few patients as late as up to 40 years of the illness. Cause of the disorder may be complicated by the development of the other sleep disorders, and second one is the substance abuse disorder. And in children, symptoms of the ablation are symptoms of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, secondary to nighttime sleep disruption and excessive daytime sleepiness. Now coming to the treatment of the narcolepsy. I will focus on the pharmacotherapy of narcolepsy. In narcolepsy, basically there are three kinds of problems. One is the excessive daytime sleepiness, second one is the cataplexy, and third one is the nighttime frequent microarousal during sleep. This excessive daytime sleepiness is treated by the sodium oxybate, modafinil, armodafinil, pitolisant, sodium fetal, and classical stimulants like the amphetamine. Cataplexy is treated by the sodium oxybate, SSRI, SNRI, and TCS. Sodium oxybate is the only FDA-approved drug for the treatment of the cataplexy. Amphetamines does not treat the cataplexy. Nighttime frequent microarousals are treated by the sodium oxybate. This is all about the narcolepsy. I hope you have got sufficient information regarding the narcolepsy. If you have still any kind of problem, please comment on the comment box. I will try to solve it. Thank you so much for watching this video.